Oh boy. A special shout out to those remotely viewing us at home. Hopefully we've got all of our tech stuff sorted out. I don't know if you remember me. I'm the Reverend Ron Phares, and about 3 years ago, or last week, or many decades ago, depending on what your relationship to time has suffered under COVID, you all called me to help you achieve, as a congregation, your vision. And believe it or not, we've actually gone a long way down that road, even in spite of all the COVID and stuff, and sometimes because of the COVID stuff, right? Like, we now are broadcasting to people at home much quicker than we might have been otherwise. So it's a true testament to the fiber of this congregation that we were able to move as far into our stated vision as we have. And speaking of fiber, our service associate today is Ryan Guenther, who is also the board president. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, everyone.
Now, look, before I turn the proceedings over to... How are you, by the way? How are you?
That's a complicated question. I was better a little while ago. I think we are actually not streaming.
We're not streaming. Okay.
Is that correct? Oh, we are streaming now. I'm feeling great. Everything is good now.
Okay, so it's going to be a roller coaster this morning.
It is a roller coaster.
All right, well, look, before I turn the proceedings over to Ryan, I would like to mention a couple of things. First, to the kids in the room, your word for the day is community. Community. So the first person under 18 who tells me how many times combined Ryan and I say the word community in this service, starting now, at the corn roast afterwards, I will make your plate for you. Personally. You could order me to get what you want, I'll go get it and bring it to where you're sitting. So you have to count how many times, starting now, that we say the word community. Secondly, let's acknowledge that this is our first time doing a live service this robust in a year and a half. And it actually takes a community to pull this off. I see Gene counting over here already. It takes a community of this. I mean, from the greeters and the ushers to the sound crew, the SSAs, the people putting this out to the folks at home. It takes a lot of people, all of you and the choir and the staff, to pull something like this off, and we haven't actually done it in a year and a half. So there might be some rust on the joints, and so your grace is deeply appreciated. For instance, forgot to fill the chalice with lighter fluid, but we've gotten that covered now. So I appreciate your grace. And lastly, you know, what a gorgeous day this turned out to be. On my way here this morning, the clouds were clinging to the mountaintops, and there was a mist outside my window when I woke up today, and just surrounded by all that beautiful water that gave way to this lovely sunshine on this land that has been tended for generations and generations by the Tsleil-Waututh and Squamish peoples. And may our participation and connection with this land do honor to the way that they tended it for generations and generations. Speaking in that good and grateful way, I usher you into Ryan's care.
Allison, are you lurking somewhere? Not that Allison? There you are. Aha. To signal the onset of our shared sacred time, I invite Allison, Laura, and Charlotte Yee to light our chalice. Allison joined this community because she wanted her daughters to see how the young and the not so young can learn from each other, work together, celebrate together, help each other, and think big thoughts together. We kindle this flame as a symbol of our gathering. May the light of understanding illuminate our darkness. May the warmth of sharing bring us peace. And that's why it's metal. Welcome back to the North Shore Unitarian Church, where our mission is to empower people to live with greater depth, meaning, and purpose. In this community, we celebrate people from all walks of life, no matter how you experience the sacred, no matter who you are or who you love. We hope you will feel welcome here. Another thing Alice and I love about this congregation, and probably most of you, is the music. And starting this week, we're really front-loading the music in the service. So today we have 3 pieces, starting with the hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Allison Nixon and the choir.
Not quite yet. Let's give him a second. So tenors and basses, you may want to be careful about how far back you go. Okay. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. River song. You can put your hymn books down if you want. Might be easier.
It's leaking out the bottom, so if it's rusty, just like we are.
Oh my God.
hearts be glad. Let the song of the river take you away. Dance to the tune, sing to the moon. I shall-a-roon, oh shall-a-roon. Let the river take you.
So, just like every football team the past couple of weeks, we just came out of the gates a little hot. We got it sorted. Thank you, Aaron, where'd you go? Wrangling the flame. And I just want you all, our pastoral prayer today is going to be sort of a body prayer. And the sense that I want you to feel right now is that of home. I want you to feel welcomed home. So just soak in this moment a little bit. I mean, stay seated, but maybe you can give yourself a little stretch. Give your body some motion in this space. And now that you know what it feels like to stretch your body in this space, I'd like you to give your senses a stretch. And through this method, we'll really just get here, fully be here. So stretch out with your senses. What do you see? What does the air on your skin feel like? What do your muscles feel like on the chair? What do you smell and taste and hear? And now with that other sense, that feeling sense, stretch out with your soul. Just soulfully feel the room. What do you feel? What is calling your attention? What do you feel? I actually want to know, does anyone want to share what they feel right now? Cora. Okay. Grounded and peaceful. Anybody else want to share what they feel? In this space right now together? Excited. Energized and connected. Loved. Hungry. You're in the right spot because after this we have a corn roast. Together. Gratitude. Quiet. Verklempt. So for all these feelings and those that went unexpressed, we offer our deep thanks. We offer our joy. We are verklempt, connected, hungry. We are thankful. We are home. We pray for those who cannot be here with us today. We pray for those who are facing some medical situations. We pray for their doctors to have wise minds and clean hands. We give thanks that we're together in spirit and in body. We say thank you to the sun. We say thank you, Earth, for holding us close. We say thank you, air, for this beautiful breath and being the medium of our connection. And we say thank you, water, for life. Thank you, water, for life. Amen. 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 So today is our first day back after too long apart, and we have been strained and tested. We have been tried, and we have tried to hold on, to hold together, to hold one another when we can't actually hold one another. And like never before, we can understand that right now, being in the presence of one another, we are in the presence of a blessing. I mean, look around. Now, our ceremony today is intended to symbolize and embody that blessing. It's our water communion, a celebration of many becoming one. A deep mingling of ways uniting where our whole is greater than our sum. Our whole is greater than our sum. With that in mind, I've asked Ryan to reflect for a moment on this sacred community and what actions or aspirations or relationships this community in this Unitarian tradition connects him in a way that no other community could. So Ryan, I ask you, what about this place speaks to your soul?
Well, microphone? I'm not even sure if I have a soul. So right off the bat, one thing I like is that this is a church where people don't hold that against me. A lot has happened since the last time I stood up here, and even more since I was last talking to actual people rather than just a camera. No offense to the people inside the camera. One of the things that happened is that Ron started a resiliency task force to brainstorm ways we could prepare now to make it easier to adapt to unknown and unexpected disasters in the future. And one of the things that became clear was that most of the ways we can build resilience is by creating and strengthening the bonds between members of this community. The internet was originally designed to survive a nuclear war, with the idea that if there are multiple routes between any 2 points on the network, then when one connection goes down, it can just use a different route. The network is strong because there isn't a single point of failure. Ironically, that is no longer true of the internet, but the concept is still sound. A spider web is stronger than any individual strand, as I'm sure you all know from firsthand experience, or should I say, face-first experience. Whenever people ask how I've been doing this past year, I like to say that I was made for quarantine. I love canceling plans. I got to work from home with my cats. I got to do board meetings from bed with beer. And I got to relive my 20s and play video games for hours at a time. And that's all true, but there is a corollary, which is that even though I was stuck at home, I wasn't isolated. I already had the support of this community built into my life. And when other things went away, like comedy and hockey and going out to eat with friends, this didn't. Even trapped in my tiny basement suite, I had connections and commitments and purpose. I doubt anyone has ever been told to join a committee as a treatment for depression. But there is something to be said for getting out of bed because you have something you have to do. or worrying less about your own problems because you're helping somebody else with theirs. Resiliency is community. The whole is stronger than the sum of its parts, but the parts are also stronger because they are part of a whole. The question before us now is, how do we give that to people who don't have it but need it? And if the last year has taught us anything, it's that everybody needs it. One thing we're doing is building connections into the wider community, and one way we're doing that is by partnering with organizations that align with our values. Our plate collection for the fall will be shared with 3 organizations focused on food security. Seed Change, formerly known as the Unitarian Service Committee, focuses on helping farmers and protecting biodiversity. Food Stash and Quest Food Exchange both collect food that would otherwise go to waste and distribute it to organizations and individuals in need. If you're watching from home, you can donate by texting to 604-200-3443. Please give as generously as you are able. Will the ushers please prepare to take the offering?
Oh my God, it is good to hear. Oh, sorry. It's still good to hear them. I mean,
for these gifts and for all that we do to weave this tapestry of love we call community, let us give thanks.
all right. Can I get the kiddos to come on up here? We haven't done this in a while. I've missed you. So the young and the young at heart, yeah, I've missed you too, all the morning long. Okay. So it has been a while since I have seen some of you. Have you been, Watsons? How are you doing? Good. Now you guys all just started school this week, right? Everyone did? How was the first week of school? Thumbs up? I can't hear you, so you have to do me thumbs up, thumbs to the side, or thumbs down. How was school for you, Harper? Blah? Blah. Well, you know what? Like going up a grade is a big transition, right? So that first week is a little bit strange. Your school's so boring? All right, well, let's not make this moment boring. What do you say? Because we got a transition here. Just like you guys are going up one grade every year, we have got some changes that are going on at this congregation that we actually could use your help with, right? Because you all know that Lynn has retired, right? And she's been here for a long, long time. She's been here since I was your age, right? So this is a big change, and we need some help. We need some help making this happen. That was meant to be a compliment, by the way. So we need some help making this happen. So I know... No, it's your job to help the minister. And right now, I need your help. Lynn was here, but I don't see her here anymore. Can you guys help me out and call for Lynn? Just call her. Go. Okay, that was plenty loud, but I think it was a little bit crazy sounding. Can you sing her name?
No.
Okay.
Only if we get to do it in front of
Lynn. All right, congregation, can you help by singing Lynn's name so we can get her out here? Lynn. Hey! Good job, everybody. Hey, can I get you? So here's what we need to do. I need you to line up from Lynn in a line over to here, okay? Can you do that for me? So this is this big transition, like ceremony, like we're doing the water communion ceremony. Go ahead and stand right next to Lynn. We're doing the water communion ceremony today, and ceremony helps us. Stay in line. Come on, you. Oh yeah. Any youth want to come up here? Where do we got? Some youth over here. Some youth, and maybe if we could get someone. Sarah, could you come up from the transitions team? And Melissa, I saw you earlier. Melissa and Cindy, could you come up here? I saw y'all someplace. Just come up and snake into the line here. So this is going to be a ceremony, because ceremony helps us, helps our bodies know something, even when we're trying to learn it with our minds. Sometimes ceremony can help our bodies and our spirits understand a new state of being. So let me see, I've lost my place. Lynn.
Yeah, I know. Is this on? Can you guys hear me?
First of all,
Switch. Yeah, you did it. There we go. Well, listen, it is really, unlike Ryan, I don't like being stuck at home and not around people, and it's so good to see people that aren't in a little square on a screen. So I'm looking out at my beloved church family, my chosen family, and my heart is beyond full, and I miss these guys. But I will have to watch them from afar. After 40 years of this being my home and really my second home, in fact, sometimes it was my primary home, it felt like, I am going to have this be the only service I get to go to for a while. I will be so thankful for all the technicians because I'll be watching from home for a while. When I see you guys out in the community, of course I'll be able to say hi. And give you a hug and all that. But right now, it's a special time and a special new beginning. You're going to be trying a new experiment. And part of that new experiment is your new director of engagement. And this is our chance to, we've all kind of in our way welcomed her, but this is our official welcome. We're going to have me transition out and her transition in, but just like you called me out, we are sweetly going to call Laura, who I know you are going to love. So let's give her a call.
Sweetly.
Sweetly, very sweetly. Laura. All right.
So if you could
You're
just
gonna
stand
find
next
out.
to Cindy here. Squish in a little bit. All right, so we've got a line connecting Lynn to Laura, right? This is perfect symbolism. And we find ourselves once again at a threshold as a community, and we need to know how we move from there to here. And as with any passage, transit is made easier with ceremony and gifts. And Lynn, did you bring tokens to
I
secure this
certainly
passage?
did. I am the queen of gifts. No, Yasha is, but I'm second. Yeah, I do have gifts. My first gift was supposed to be pearls of wisdom. But you know, I've known Laura for a while. Some of you don't know that. I happen to know that Laura was specially chosen by this hardworking team. And I also happen to know she has exactly what you need. She has the wisdom, the creativity, and the passion. What she needs is help from all of you and all of us and all the people who are watching on their screens. It's going to take everybody to make this new version of church work. And so she is going to be the person that is most responsible for children and youth now. And to recognize that, I have a token of that position. I'm going to actually take it out of its wrapping so you can see it. It is a fused glass flaming chalice that we have been giving to our youth advisors for some years now, made by a friend of mine that I went to high school with. And this represents that wisdom that I know Laura has. So I'm going to ask you to pass it down to her.
Yeah. Let's get in line, and each one of you pass it to the next. Get back. Thank you.
Wait, Laura has it.
Keep it moving, keep it moving. She's the... Okay, and before Ron continues, he doesn't really know this. I'm taking some advice from our former minister, Stephen Atkinson, who told me that I need to let go and that organizing was not my job anymore. And so to really seal that deal, the symbol of organizing, of course, is the final step, is labeling. And so, Laura, this is now yours, not mine. Woohoo! Pass it down. It's a label maker. No director of engagement is quite complete without her label maker. Although we did kind of leave everything labeled so far.
So Laura, we want to acknowledge that you bring amazing gifts of your own to this congregation. But with that understood, will you accept and amplify these gifts of wisdom and investiture?
I will indeed, thank you. I
Are-
love these things.
And of course, gifts rot if they are not shared. So this gift of Lynn's is not so much to Laura, it is actually through Laura and into the congregation. And actually not so much into the congregation, but in through the congregation, so that you can share the gifts that Laura brings here with other people in your life as well. And so, congregation, will you accept and amplify all the gifts that Laura brings now, plus these two additional bits of wisdom and action? If so, say huzzah. Huzzah! All right, for years now, we've been singing the kids downstairs. And next week we will do that again. We'll sing you downstairs. You get a little snack at this time and get ready for the spirit zones down there. But today you're going to hang on for a little bit longer. Today, instead of singing the kids down, we would like to sing Lynn back to her seat. So kids, if you can try to make a bridge and stretch up, Lynn, you don't have to walk totally under that, and everybody else make the little bridge tunnel that we make. And Lynn, we're going to sing Lynn and hold her in our heart. Go. Hold you in our hearts. You all can go back to your seats. Thank you for your help. And a deep, deep bow of gratitude to Lynn and to Laura for the continued work of engaging our children and now all of us in the life of this church and the tradition of Unitarian Universalism. So next Sunday, we're going to begin our gentle shift into what I'm calling the new church model. So next week is going to be different than this week. Kids, you'll get a chance after reflecting with me like we just did, you'll get a chance to go get some snacks and some orientation with Laura. She'll help you out with that. And I'll spend some time next week laying out the year to come for those of us who remain in this room for the reflection. And look, it should be said, by the way, that a lot of the sense of this community is communicated in the newsletter, right? And weekly e-bulletins. So think of those e-bulletins and newsletters as midweek love letters. Right? Today is about conjuring and centering the sense of community in this community. And every week you can prepare for that by reading those beautiful love letters to you, sometimes from you, from your community. Now, in those pages right now, you'll find signups for Soul Matters and Circles of Light and small group ministries. You'll see how we've morphed the anti-racist reading groups into the rainbow of reading groups, which cover the spectrum of anti-racism, spirituality, and climate issues. You'll find COVID protocols in those newsletters and e-bulletins and descriptions of upcoming spirit zones. You'll want to be paying attention to that every week now. And you'll find signups for lunch with me. I look forward to lunching with you. You'll learn about how we hope to approach discerning our position on the eighth principle as a community. And you'll find ways that you can engage with saving our Mother Earth from the systems that we have built up to now. As a record of the intention of this community, those e-bulletins seem mundane, but they are love letters. And love is the water of life. And that's my segue, and I'm sticking to it. Today, after all, is water communion. The day where we combine the waters that we've gathered from different places and disparate, sometimes desperate, but usually just disparate circumstances into one new water holding and influencing each of its spiritual tributaries. Love is the water of life. The world knows the ceremony is about to begin. We're getting serious, and so it shut the door for us. Now, as I meditated on this day, the image that came to me was of withered roots and branches parched after too long a time without hydration. And then when the water comes, that tree is replenished. Trees drink in that water. They are, as it were, inspired by it, nurtured from it, and those roots and branches become so flush and lush that they begin to give water back to the world. That giving back is called transpiration. And it is a critical part of the hydrological cycle, where trees drink water from the ground and then release it into the atmosphere. And there it condenses into vaporous rivers of clouds that return water to the earth as rain. No trees, no water. No water, no trees. There is no inspiration without transpiration. Metaphorically speaking, you get what I'm laying down? What we get here needs to transpire through us, right? There's no inspiration without transpiration. And then I saw that our community here at NSUC is like a forest. We are many trees making one forest, utterly dependent on receiving water from one another, and a world that is also utterly dependent on receiving water from us. Here too there is no inspiration without transpiration. We are like the trees, and love is the water of life. For the past year and a half, we've been hydrating each other as best as we can, but the community, as a community, needs the whole of us, and that is just easier to do when we don't have to only imagine it. No community, no water. Water, especially for the purpose of water communion, is a metaphor for spirit. Our gathered spirits, our corporate spirit. I've been saying that love is the water of life. But if I allow water to stand as spirit, I can say that love is the spirit of life. And I think that works. So water communion is the remembering of the loving spirit of our community. Now, we did it a little differently than I've normally done it in the past, because back when we were planning today, we just didn't know what it would look like. So I didn't know if you guys would be a hot mess of tears for an hour, or if I would be, or if we would be dancing in the aisles, or if we would even be able to be gathered here at all. So we sort of tried to design a ritual that would control for as many variables as we could, and that's how we came up with the one today, where you came into the narthex and described to me the spirit of the water, the spirit of what you are bringing to this congregation. So what is this gathered spirit? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What are the words that you all contributed? To bring this ceremony to fruition, I will pronounce those qualities back to you right now. We'll have Catherine play some music under my words. And for your part, to further contribute to the ritual and to experience the full benefit of it, when you hear a word that particularly resonates with you, I invite you to repeat it aloud so that others may hear it near you, thus transpiring that blessing and engaging you in the ceremony. So now, listen, and as the words fall like rain on our roots and outstretched branches, receive the blessing of one another. Soak it up, be inspired, flush and lush, transpire. We are a community of reverence, of remembering, of harmony and family, of recreation, which is also recreation. We're a community of rejuvenation and connection. We're a community of purity and home. We're a community that hopes for community, for clarity, and that brings happiness. As a community, we experience serendipity with one another, and together we're a community of rejoicing. We are a community of loving and sometimes confusion. We are a community that celebrates life and death. When we are together, we feel relief. Here it is good to feel both gratitude and be held as we feel shame. Here we have a love of nature. We live into our humanity. This community generates calm. It's a place where we can be grateful for our continued survival and appreciate how lucky we are. It is a thirst-quenching community that loves being outside and giving gratitude for this land of abundant water. We generate renewal. We experience ebb and flow, and we remember our losses. We are a curious community, a place to breathe, to court peace and coolness. Here we bring our family connections, and here we gather the courage to leave home. Experience happiness, longing, and calm, truth and love. We bring our families gathered to this place to share. It's a tranquil community. We are one water of many waves. Our water is of reunification and life and hope ever flowing. life and hope ever flowing. And now, if you would all rise in body or spirit, join us in hymn 354. The words are on the screen. We laugh, we cry.
We laugh, we cry, live, we die. We dance, we sing a song. We need to feel there's something here to which we belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone.
We are a busy congregation with a lot going on, so please read your weekly e-bulletin. But there are a couple of announcements that we particularly want to draw your attention to. The forum on the CUC's Dismantling Racism report that was scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed. If you already registered, you maybe were notified. But you definitely will be notified once a new date is scheduled, and if you haven't registered, then you can do that in the e-bulletin. The 8th Principal Town Hall that was originally scheduled for next Sunday will now be on October 3rd, right after church. The survey on the proposed 8th Principal has not been postponed, and the deadline is this Tuesday, so please fill that out nowish. And Ron, I think you had a couple?
Sure. Just a couple of announcements about what you're going to experience downstairs. It's the corn roast. Merrick put this thing together. Thank you so much, Merrick, and all of the help that he got, and he got a lot, right? So thank you all for doing that. You will be served, right? So you're not going to grab the food. Someone will grab the food for you. That's another attempt at us trying to keep each other as healthy as possible. And also, there's sort of like a low-calorie, what I call a low-calorie committee fare downstairs. You'll see some tables. They've got programs, teams, committees, and programs that we offer here at the church. And those are just like withered branches looking for your water of life to fill them up. All right, and I just discovered something fantastic about mask wearing. Oftentimes when I'm up here, I'll look back and be reading the lyrics, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I know this lyric, I got this. And I'll start singing it, and invariably I'm starting to sing the wrong lyric, and I suddenly don't know what I'm saying. And I feel like everyone could tell what I'm saying, but you guys, when I got my mask on, have no idea how I butchered that song. So gratitude for the small things. All right. Shall we extinguish our chalice?
A few more things to go through. So next week's service is titled Practice Possibility and will be a combination dress rehearsal and blue sky visioning session for how we will be doing Sundays in the fall, so you won't want to miss that. And I would like to give an extra welcome to any newcomers or visitors if they're here with us today or are joining us from home. We are glad that you're here. If you'd like to learn more about our community, I encourage you to sign in with the iPad in the foyer or click the link in the YouTube description. If you have any questions about our congregation or Unitarian Universalism in general, any of our friendly volunteers wearing greeter buttons would be happy to chat with you. And after the service, I invite everyone from longtime members to first-time visitors to come downstairs for coffee, tea, and corn this week.
And chalice cookies.
And chalice cookies.
And
If you didn't hear that yelled out earlier.
yeah, I think that means y'all better run down there, right? Because they're going to get gobbled up pretty quick.
We extinguish this flame. The world calls us to live with depth, meaning, and purpose.
Please rise for the benediction. As we leave this sacred place that we have created together, once again, oh, I got goosebumps when I said that. As we leave this place that we have created together, let us know that we're actually not leaving it, that we're bringing it with us, that we are like trees inspired by this place, transpiring that inspiration through us to the world, that water of life, that love that we generate for and with each other here, we can take with us out into the world and fill it, nurture it, fulfill it, feed it. And even now, as we feed each other at the corn roast, go in peace and let's go singing our beautiful closing song, Circle Around for Freedom, which I have longed to hear for a year and a half live.